Hello friends, I am Sailor Peach and today we are going to have a look at my experiences with Chaos Shuffle. Now, if you're not sure what Chaos Shuffle is, then where have you been? But for those unaware, it's the most recent modifier that Dead by Daylight released between May 16th and May 23rd, and thanks to people queuing up for it over 18 million times, we've had it extended until the 3rd of June. Now, in Chaos Shuffle, all you need to do is pick your item or add-ons and offering and then queue up. When you load into the game, you'll see the lovely perks that Fate has decided to give you. Now, I would consider myself somewhat of a connoisseur of random builds, having run nearly 2,500 of them since March of last year. I pretty much only run random builds when I'm playing Survivor, so this game modifier was absolutely perfect for me, as now everyone is running random perks. And at least in my opinion, it has been incredibly enjoyable to have that little bit of variety in everyone's builds. So, just how much variety has there been in Chaos Shuffle? A lot. The fact that a lot of people are speculating on which perks are more likely based on what they've been getting, and this being entirely different to the data that I've seen, shows just how random the perks really are. I don't believe there's any favour towards anything in specific, although I would love to hear of what you've found in your games and what major differences that you've come across. All of the information used for this video is based on games that I have uploaded to Nightlight. If you're a bit of a stats nerd and not using Nightlight, well, you know to go and get signed up now. So let's take a look at my personal stats first. I have played 163 Survivor games and 7 whole killer games at the time of recording this, so we have a good variety of games to explore the Survivor side of variation of the perks. Now, out of 163 games, there are 3 perks that I have still yet to get. These are Lightweight, Visionary, and Wiretap. My top 3 perks have been Tenacity with 11 games, Quick and Quiet at 10 games, and then we have Bite the Bullet, Buckle Up, and Streetwise all tied for 3rd place at 9 games each. If we compare this to perks used by all survivors, then Deception has actually been the number 1 perk, with 34 survivors having this, 33 having Red Herring, and then our Buckle Up makes it into the overall 3rd place with 30 survivors getting this perk. And of course, a special mention to No Mither, which sits in a joint 15th place with 18 poor survivors getting this. And 4 of those times were me. If we take a look over at the killer side of things instead, these are a little bit closer together. However, that's to be expected with there only being 1 killer per game, as opposed to 4 survivors. We're comparing 170 random builds to 680. It's going to be a little bit closer together. So we have a lot of shared positions here, and in first, we have Awakened Awareness, Dead Man Switch, and Fire Up, all with 11 appearances. And then in second place, we have Hex Ruin, Whispers, Deerstalker, Spirit Fury, Hex the Third Seal, and Iron Grasp with 10 appearances. And then in third place, we get Mad Grip, Hex Plaything, Beast of Prey, Septic Touch, Hex Blood Favor, and Nowhere to Hide with 9 appearances. Now, there is one killer perk that I have never went up against throughout all of these Chaos Shuffle games, and that is Nemesis. And we're also going to give a special shout out to Insidious, which has made only 1 appearance. So, we've taken a look at perks, but what about the killers themselves? Well, sadly, there are 3 killers who were too shy to make an appearance for me, and these are Hag, Freddy, and Clown. The top 3 killers though, which I imagine may be similar for others, but I would love to know of any big differences, are Wesker at 19 games, Unknown at 17, and then a little bit of a drop off, we get Huntress at 10 games. There are also only 6 killers that showed their face once, and these are Pinhead, Singularity, Twins, Demo, Slinger, and Dredge. Next, we're going to have a look at maps, which are a bit of an interesting one, particularly with the rate of some of these being boosted for the anniversary events. However, our top 3 maps played were on Ormond 13 times with 0 map offerings for this. We had Dead Dog Saloon 11 times with a map offering about 18% of the time. And then finally Area of Crows in 3rd with no map offerings. Shout out to RPD, which technically is first if we combine both sides. West appeared 8 times and East 7 times. Now, on the topic of maps, I found it interesting that a lot of players, particularly those who primarily play killer, because it is more annoying when survivors bring them, wanted map offerings to be disabled for this mode. However, out of 531 survivor offerings, only 20 of these were maps, so that's just under 4%, while out of 124 killer offerings, 9 were maps, which works out to just under 7%. Although, again, this is just representative of my games, not all games. It's just an interesting one to look at. Finally, if we take a look at the variety of survivors played, excluding myself because it would just be Michaela, Yunjin and Sable, we can see the most popular survivor to play was Sable with 62 appearances, followed by Nea at 28 and then Steve at 25. We only had one Tap and one Elodie who joined us, so a big shout out to them. And we also had 70 Prestige 100 survivors. We're not going to go into them in any detail, but there is a lot more information that you can find out with this, including escape rates and kill rates overall, then per survivor and killer, and also by map. You can also see items that are brought in, and if you do keep track of the hook states and gens that are done, you can also view these and a lot more. Overall, I hope that this gives a good overview of the Chaos Shuffle and just how entirely random it is, and that, for me, is the main sense of enjoyment from the modifier. You're not going to be going up against meta perks all the time. If you're playing killer, you don't need to worry about dead hard all of the time. You don't need to worry about unbreakables. You don't need to worry about TS. If you're survivor, you don't need to worry about the constant pain res, the dead mans, the grim. It's all entirely random, and that's what makes it fun. Now, I will be really sad when it does finally leave. However, we will then have the D&D chapter, and shortly after the anniversary event, and that'll keep us going. And hopefully, we will get to see it return in the future, as I think it's overwhelmingly been the most popular modifier that they've added so far. But let me know your thoughts on Chaos Shuffle below, and fingers crossed it does make a return for us.